This week we're doing Leanne and Milena's Arancini. Their arancini that they made on the show is very different to what I usually make. They got bolognese, boiled eggs, salami, all kinds of different stuff in theirs. Let's see how it is. Okay, to start off with, we're going to make the bolognese sauce. So we're just going to get a pot, add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom, let that get a little bit of heat into it, and then we'll add the onions. Once you get a little bit of heat in your pot, go ahead and add your onions. As always, all the amounts and ingredients are going to be on the website, traditionalbutnot.com. Okay, we're just going to cook these onions over a medium-high heat till they get translucent, and then we'll come back. Because I'm using red onions, they actually won't go translucent because they're red onions. I've just cooked these until they're nice and soft, and now we'll add the mince in. Now this is a mixture of pork and beef, so we'll go ahead and get that all broken down and mixed in until it's browned all over, and then we'll come back. Now we've got a little bit of browning on the mince there. Now I found that if you season a little bit at a time all the way through the cook, it makes a much better taste than if you season all at the end or all at the up front. So we just put a little bit of salt in there, give it a little mix, and now we're going to add some wine. Now we're going to add the wine, we're going to get up all that nice fond off the bottom, reduce the wine by about half, and then we'll come back. The wine's reduced down to about half. Now we're going to add some tomatoes. Now I just got a couple of cans of crushed tomatoes here, bang those in. Also, I don't know why I transferred the tomatoes to a bowl to put them in, but anyway, we'll wash the cans out with a little bit of water, add that in there too, then we'll give this a mix in. Okay, once you get it all mixed in, we're going to bring it up to a simmer, and then we'll just let it do its thing for about 30 minutes. Make sure you come back and stir it every once in a while, and yeah, after about 30 minutes, we'll come back. Okay, for the risotto, I've just got some white wine here, and I've got some saffron there, just so it starts to infuse. Now in the recipe, the risotto calls for brown onion, but I didn't have any of those, but I do have some of these shallots here, so I'm just going to get these all finely chopped up, and then we'll head to the stove. To make the risotto, I've already got my shallots in here that are finely chopped up, just cooking away on a medium heat to get all nice and soft. And I've also got my stock back here that's been preheating. Once your shallots are nice and soft, you're going to go ahead and add your rice. Now, I'm using this Canola risotto rice. I hope I pronounced that right. You could use Arborio as well, but that's the one I found at the store, so that's the one I'll be using. So we're just going to stick the rice in, give it a little mix around, get it all, the onions and a little bit of oil that's in there, all coated. Then we'll just cook this rice off for a little bit, and then we'll come back. After you've toasted your rice off for just a minute there, you're going to go ahead and add your wine and saffron, and you're just going to mix that in until the wine's all evaporated. Once your wine's all evaporated, you're going to start ladling in your stock, sort of one ladle full or two ladlefuls at a time, and you just want to keep doing that. Once the stock's all been soaked in by the rice, you're just going to add another one. And you just want to keep on stirring it, just nice and softly there. You don't have to stir it for the full time while you add it all, just to make sure some of that starch comes off and gets it nice and creamy. So this whole process is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. Just adding a little bit of stock at the time and mixing it. Once we got all the stock in and we're nearly at the time and it's nearly done, we'll come back. Our risotto is finished cooking and it's just got al dente. I've grated some grana padano. I'm just going to mix that in. So once I get all the cheese stirred in, we're going to transfer it through a tray to cool down, and then we'll form the arancinis. I just pulled my bolognese sauce off of the stove, and it's looking quite delicious. As you can see, you don't want it too saucy, but it will set up a little firmer once it's cooled down. So I've got my frozen peas. Going to add those in. We'll give those a little stir in. Now I've added those in frozen because the residual heat in this sauce will thaw them out, and if you leave them on the stove, they'll overcook and become mushy and not good tasting at all. You just want to mix those in, and then I've just gone ahead and chopped up some parsley, big chunk of parsley. I like parsley, so I've got to put a lot in. So I'll give this a mix in. Now we're just going to let that sit there in this pot for 5 minutes or so. Let the peas thaw out, and then we'll come back, and then we'll taste it for seasoning. It's been sitting here for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little taste. It's quite nice, but definitely needs some more salt. So I'll go ahead and get some salt in there, give it a good mix in, and then once you're happy with the seasoning, we'll also go ahead and transfer it to a tray to let it cool down for when we're ready to form the arancini. To fill the arancini, I've already got my little station set up here, and I also boiled off some eggs, and I just chopped them up into little pieces there. In the original recipe, they use a calabrese salami, which I didn't have, but I had this one in the fridge, which is an Austrian salami, and it's very, very good. It's not spicy, but it's still very good. So I'll be using that instead. Just on a side note, when you cut your salami up, make sure you cut extra because you're going to be snacking on it. It's a damn good salami. Also, I couldn't find any low moisture mozzarella at the store, but this one I found it'll be just fine. To form the balls, first thing you want to do, wet hands. And then I've got a 1/4 cup scoop here. So you just want to scoop about a 1/4 cup into your hand. And I found the easiest way to do this, because previously when I used to make arancini, I used to cook the rice a little bit more and add more cheese, and that would make it more sticky. But this is just going to be fine. So I make it into like a flat disc with sort of a little well in the middle, like that. Then I grab myself a piece of cheese, a piece of the egg, and a piece of the salami. I give all that a little push down, and I grab a little spoon of my sauce here, spoon that on top, get that nicely pushed in a bit more, and then I get another 1/4 scoop. With that one, I just kind of plonk it on top, and then just work it around there like that, and then just start working it so it all closes up. Now if you see a little bit like that on the side, don't worry, just get a little bit more rice, poke it on there, and then just keep on forming. As you see it come together, just ever so slightly squeeze it a little bit more between your hands like that, and in the end you'll be left with a nice little bowl like that. Now you could make these into a egg shape, you know, the traditional way like Mount Edna, but I'm not that skilled yet, so bowls it is for me. I'm going to carry on forming the rest of these up, and then we'll come back. Okay, I've just got the standard 3-station breading station set up. Now with the breadcrumb, I've used half normal breadcrumbs and half panko, mainly because I thought I had more breadcrumbs and I didn't. So I filled it up with the panko. But I think it'll make it turn out better. Quite simple, this little setup here. First you go in the flour, get it all coated in the flour, get all the excess off, then into the egg, drip the excess off, and then into the breadcrumbs. Get it all nicely coated. Right, once you got all nicely coated, back on the plate. Now we'll go through and get the rest of them done, and then we'll come back. Once you got them all breaded up, we'll get the oil up to temperature, and then we'll start frying. Once you got your oil up to around 160 degrees, as you see mine's a little over, which is perfect because it's going to drop once I put the arancini in. With a slotted spoon, you just want to carefully lower them in. You don't want to put too many in at a time. In my pot about this size, I reckon I'll get about 4. Right, then we just want to keep an eye on the temperature. Keep it around that 160 degree range until they're nicely golden, and then we'll take them out. Might have been in about 9 minutes, and they're nicely golden brown. As you can see here, when you put them in, because I didn't move them around a little bit at the start, it did get a little black on the bottom, but that's not going to affect anything at all in my opinion. Just want to go ahead and scoop them all out onto a paper lined plate. And in my opinion, as always, when you fry something and it's come out the onion, just a little sprinkle of salt. Once you go through and you fry them all up, you'll be ready to eat. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, I got a bit of a soft spot for arancini. Let's see how these ones stack up. Ooh, nice and gooey with the mozzarella. Just how I like it. It's not melted all over the place. Still holding its shape, but it's just nice and gooey. Let's see if I can get a little bit of everything. Oh damn. Oh damn. This is just not right. This is so damn good. I've never had an arancini with the Bolognese sauce before, but I don't think I could have another one without it. That is definitely a 10 out of 10 dish.